This is it. This is the big one. The big whale has arrived. The 1914 Baltimore News Babe Ruth rookie card is sitting at Robert Edward Auctions. Stick around. What's going on, sports card hobby family? We are back again. It is another day. It is another sports card video. Today we're talking all about Robert Edward Auctions, today's video sponsor. Make sure to check them out. Insane auction that they've got going on right now. Today we're going to be talking about really the premier card of the auction, but really the whole thing, top to bottom, especially if you are a vintage collector. Don't miss the latest Robert Edward auction. I will have Brian Dwyer on, president of Robert Edward Auctions, on Monday night coming up, and we'll be talking just about this auction, this card again, and so forth. It's going to be a good time, so definitely hang out with us on Monday night coming up. Because of the holiday, because of the Thanksgiving holiday here in the U.S., we will not have Off-Centered coming up tomorrow night. On Wednesday night, we're going to push it a week. So myself, Flippin' Steve, and Neo will just be taking a little bit of a break. We'll be back in a week to hang out. All right, let's dive into this thing. Brian was actually on the Today Show to talk about this card. This guy has been making the rounds because this is not just any card, and it's not even just any high-end card. What we're talking about here, the 1914 Baltimore News Babe Ruth rookie, it's one of the most rare cards. This might be the most premier baseball card in existence. It's right up there with the Honus Wagner T206 and, of course, the iconic 52 Topps Mickey Mantle. This one sits in an SGC3 holder. There's known to be 10 copies of this card. And one thing I thought was really interesting is this particular example has remained in the same Baltimore area family for more than 100 years. You talk about diamond hands, you talk about buy and hold strategy, 100 years in the same family. Can you believe it? This card is the rookie card, the first ever card made of the great Bambino. Features him as a 19-year-old on his hometown Baltimore Orioles of the International League. It represents the origin of Babe Ruth's legendary career. And really, this is the stuff of legend. This is a collectible that, doesn't come up very often. You look at a card like this and it represents not just a top tier collectible, but a historical artifact, really. When we're looking at American history, that's what really I think vintage baseball players, if you're especially pre-war vintage baseball players, these are also history buffs. Really dive in because yes, of course, they're talking about baseball, but they're also talking about the times. What was going on in 1914? What did, Babe Ruth have to go through? And what did these players have to go through going back? It's a lot of the mystique around Jackie Robinson as well, dealing with civil rights issues and just kind of his ascension into the major leagues. And so, this card is one that stands alone. It might very well be the most expensive sports card that's ever sold. They have here that it's expected to be more than $10 million, but you never know. I mean, these things don't come up. It could be a decade before you see another one of these pop up. It's kind of like when people talk about PSA 10 Mickey Mantles, 52 Topps Mickey Mantles. If one ever comes up, for auction, what is it going to sell for? This is the kind of card where it just takes two rich people, two very, very wealthy people to come in and really want that card. And it's not just a card. That's the thing. I know people say like, oh, this is just cardboard. This is just cardboard. Technically, yes, it is just a piece of cardboard, but it's kind of like saying, the Dead Sea Scrolls, it's just parchment, or the Holy Grail, it's just a cup. It's more than that. It represents a lot more than that. And so with the sports card hobby just growing so much over the last 5 years as far as interest and of course dollar amount as well, this is a type of card that it's exciting to see it come up. The provenance of it being in the same family for over 100 years, I think is the thing that strikes me the most. I'm going to dig into that story a little bit more with Brian when I have him on my show on Monday night. You all know I'm not a huge baseball card collector, but man, this is a type of thing you have to really respect, the origins of this hobby. And this is a card in particular that really is, it's a holy grail. But no matter what you collect in this hobby, it all started with baseball card collecting going back in time. And this card is such a premier piece. I've had many, many people reach out to me. Hey, are you going to talk about this particular card? Have you heard about this? This is such an important card to hobbyists. a longtime hobbyist especially, and people that collect vintage cards, this is such a big deal. And so this will be exciting to watch, this Robert Edward auction. Definitely make sure to check out their site. I'll put a link in the video description. Guys, stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.